So my role is as moderator. So we are expecting questions from the floor. I mean, I have a lot of questions. As I said, I've been taking a lot of notes, but I want to give the opportunity to the floor. Okay, if you have questions, maybe what you can do is just stand up, put your hand up, come up to the microphones. We have one microphone, right? Yeah, we have a microphone. Come up to the microphone, or if there are many of you, just line up behind the microphone. When you it's your turn to come up, maybe you can just state your name and what is your area of study, okay, which faculty you are in, and then ask your question, and maybe also state who you're asking the question to. Is it YB or Datin? Okay, if you want a general answer, maybe the question can be to both of them. All right, so can I invite the floor? And do you all have questions? The mic is behind you. The lady. Okay. Put up. The best is, because it's very difficult to see. Put up your hand if you have a question, and it's easy for me to start organizing people. Okay, please.
Okay. Hi, my name is Zach. I'm from YB Chang Lih Kang. I'm basically one of the dynamic AI startup in Malaysia as well. We have been doing this AI thing since 2019, and currently we are building. Currently we have already built and deployed AI agent and we have already successfully go to market at the moment. There are some few concerns that we have. I'm a bit nervous. I'm not really a extrovert guy, but then there are in a way I'm kind of like representing KAIN, Consortium AI negara, okay, and DPM, and one of the consumer movement on AI. We call it AI Avengers, okay, and one of the concern is on the AI sovereignty, okay, AI sovereignty, and like for us, right, we have. We are really investing our time and effort on this thing. We call it LAM, Large Action Model. So Large Action Model is a bit more different from LLM, because LLM on terms of context only, but then for LAM, Large Action Model is basically more towards of the execution. So we have actually developed quite a number of agentic AI agent, and we have actually so dependable on technology from other countries, for instance, EWS from United States, and there's a bit there's a quite a number of concerns from KAIN, because KAIN actually is a group of AI companies, AI startup in that name, and we would like to know how does our country mitigate on AI sovereignty. Because like what YB was mentioning just now, it's very important that we need to have our data center, but then that data center needs to focus for our AI, so that we can park our AI and we will be less dependent on the technology from the especially like for us, our core framework we're using AWS. So as you know, this trade war will definitely going to affect the future of our small startup. So can I have maybe representing KAIN, what are the direction that YB or maybe you guys have on this AI sovereignty?
Thank you for the question. YB?
Thank you. I didn't expect question from startup. But there are a few startups here today, AI startup. We invited them to join us today just to because they are very able startups. So if so happen students, you have questions, you can also convey to them. And on AI sovereignty, I think government is very concerned about this also. But at the moment, we are at a very nascent stage where we are still trying to develop the technology, and also trying to help our startup to grow and flourish. Of course, we know the importance of sovereignty, AI sovereignty. That is why we are also compelling those data center. I mean, especially those from basically they are from they are foreign investor lah. We compel them. All data has to stay in Malaysia, and other than that, we also we are developing our own LLM so that we can have our own set of data instead of relying entirely on our foreign investor lah. But as I mentioned earlier, we are still at a very nascent stage where very not easy to talk about AI sovereignty at the moment, because everything comes with a cost. And at this moment, priority is to develop the technology and also to make our population more AI savvy and to increase the adoption of AI in our industry. So that is our current stage now.
Thank you, YB. Datin, do you have anything to add? Okay. One thing I could add to the issue of sovereignty is that it doesn't mean that we necessarily have to have our own, but it will also mean that we have various sources. So which means that if any one source turns bad against us, like what's happening now, okay, we have other sources that we can rely on. So that's another way of handling sovereignty. Sorry, do we have other questions? Sorry, are you okay? There was a lady earlier who put up a hand. Can we have her first, please? Yeah. Name and are you from faculty or are you from startup?
Hello, testing. First of all, thank you so much for letting me ask this question. I'm Vedini, daughter of Balaguru, first year computer science student in Universiti Malaya, studying computer systems and network. Before I ask my question, I would like to show my gratitude towards all the speakers tonight for showing positive attitude towards AI. As someone who has been surrounded by adults who are quite skeptical about AI and how it will take over the world, it is nice to see this fresh approach. Now, my question does stem from this statement, because where this fear comes from, there is a valid question. As students and future professionals, we know AI has great potential to support us. But as IBM has once said in 1979, a computer can never be held accountable. Therefore, a computer must never make a management decision. In today's world, it's easy to rely on ChatGPT, especially when it's just at your fingertips. Now, my question to both of the speakers tonight is, how do we get to control this amongst the public? Where else? In between students or between the normal staff workers in their careers? How do we ensure that ChatGPT remains as a guide and as a tool to help us, and instead does not cause problems where we have over-dependency and this causes a lack of ability in our own skills? Thank you.
Thank you. Good question.
Thank you very much for this question. In fact, a lot of people ask this question, and I don't have a definite answer, because you know why? As government, we always need to strike a balance between regulatory and also tech development. We do not want too many regulations that might curb the tech development. So that is why we have this AIGE, and it is not enforceable, but as a reference of how we should use AI ethically. It's a reference, and it cannot be enforced yet. But because we need to strike a balance, as I said, if we have too many regulations and too many laws, then that particular technology might not be able to grow. So that is the current situation now. I pass it to Datin. Thank you.
So, if you look at some of the responsible AI ethics principle, first is about transparency. What it means that for any system that any of us use as a user, we have the right to know that it is AI enabled. Whoever the developer of that solution, it must qualify that this system is AI enabled. Second principle is about explainability. For instance, in the case of ChatGPT, or if you go to Perplexity, right? Have you ever used Perplexity? If you're looking at the Perplexity, there's also that questions about explainability, which means that when you prompt it, they will give you that the framework, how they're going to answer, or the process, the thought process, how this is going to be derived. That's explainability. The third principle, accountability. As a user of AI, the decision making, if any fault or any wrong decision making which you are guided by AI, you cannot blame AI. It's still human that make the decision. So what we're saying is that the responsible use of AI, it starts with human. So when you use ChatGPT, what it teaches you as student, do not take that output as your sole information of it is absolute truth. You need to upskill yourself to be able to understand where does the reference comes from. Okay, so then that explains from a user standpoint. So I give an example. Whenever that, for instance, when we look at AI that we bring into Petronas, example we talk about from an IP standpoint, we always have that questions. How exactly is this AI is being trained? Do you train the AI on our data? If they are not training on our data, the second point is, what is that large language model that has been used? That's the second question. And if, let's say, they have their own small language model that they use, we ask the second question, do you have a legal rights over the context? Because for AI sovereignty to be deduced, or to be so-called in that state of AI sovereignty, there is that deeper questions that we need to understand, the usage of the data to train the model. So I hope that explains from the lens of user, as well as from the lens, just an example of a company. Normally that's how we see things.
Can I just add a little bit, although I say our AIGE is not enforceable and it's not a law yet, but the current law, say the MCMC law and others, can be used to control, I wouldn't say mitigate, say like scam using AI technology. Still there are laws that can be enforced. And of course, we need some amendment here and there just to make sure it is up to date. And because technology advances so fast, that is the problem that we are facing now. Not only Malaysia's government, but all over the world. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, YB. So, does that answer your question? There are people behind you, so if you have a quick one, I think we can allow it.
No, I just want to say thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Assalamualaikum. I'm not a student from UM, neither am I a student at all. I've been at university for 3 years already. But I'm speaking, I'm representing maybe the consumer section of AI. I literally used AI to develop a prototype of my product within 4 days. So yeah, AI agents and all that. And I probably burned 1,000 ringgit over a few agents and a few platforms. But I found some working ones that really executed well, and especially like last November when Anthropic released the MCP, Model Context Protocol, where they can communicate between database, not necessarily database. It's just get data API, but more complex than that. by the way, I'm working in finance. I only started this in 3 weeks. So my question is, until when am I going to spend all this money to foreign companies? I wish there would be more local products. Maybe the startups are here, but I found a few really good products and platforms. That's like number one, the joking question, but the serious question would be whether or not when I produce my prototype and then after that when I want to launch a product, maybe the moderator might be able to answer since this might be concerning on IP. What would be like, how do I play around the IP thing? I still want to keep my branding, right? But of course the code base would be the problem since it's generated by AI. Thanks.
Thank you. I didn't expect you to answer questions, but okay. I would say that some of the answer to that question Datin mentioned earlier about what is the data that is being used to train. So one portion is the data issue. The other portion that you raised specifically is the tools issue. So which AI agents you use?
Okay, so the data, I don't use any data. It's going to be an open platform where people can just go in, right? It's like any apps. You just go in, register, sign in, off, and then after that, boom, your profile is on my let's say website, let's say app, and but definitely the code base I want to
Oh, okay, all right. Now I get a better idea. And the honest truth is, this is still being debated throughout the world because you are specifically talking about code being developed by AI, but we also have instances of pictures, music, short movies being developed on AI. And there's always the question of who owns it. Is it the person who programmed or who developed the AI agent itself, or is it the person who used it to develop the movie, the music, the code? Okay, and I think it comes down to something very simple. The person who developed the tool, what did they intend? So when you access this tool, you said you burn about 1,000 ringgit, okay, accessing the tools.
For this one, 200 ringgit lah.
Okay.
Other platforms burn more.
Yeah. So the point here is when you access those tools, okay, you may not read the terms of the user terms or the EULA, the end user license agreement. But essentially that will be the answer to your question is there, because they will tell you whether or not, because it may be they used to use the term freemium. It's a free license given, you don't pay much or you pay very little, but that means what you create belongs to them. Okay, you get a right to use it, but what you create belongs to them. Or it could be you pay full price, what you create belongs to you. So it depends on the terms that they provide when you access those particular tools.
Or what if I just git it, put it on GitHub, and then ask other things, and then deploy it by myself? Nobody knows, right?
Yeah, nobody knows. And the thing about it is, with like GitHub and so on, you have a lot more flexibility because it is understood that there nobody really is going to go for ownership. Thank you. Okay, next question.
Good day. So my name is Saidal. I'm a lecturer in Faculty of Computer Science, UM, and also a fellow at non-residential college, UM. So of course thank you very much. Niners. Okay. All right. Okay. My background is not really an AI, although I'm a lecturer of computer science. Mine is more like another emerging technology, blockchain and networks and wireless networks. Okay. My question is, you said about AI replacing jobs, human jobs. Okay. But we need to, the future lies in those who knows how to use AI. Okay, how do we make sure, like we, the local workforce, even students, how do Malaysia make sure so that we just not as a users, okay, we are also a technology creators, okay? So how do, because you say that not enough, as what we said previously, there is not enough talents in Malaysia. Although we have like universities like produce graduates and stuff, but you say it's still not enough talents on AI. And then the second one is, of course, AI is fantastic, but how do we make sure, because you can, AI also can be used for like breach of privacy, scamming, or even create a deep fake video and so on. So is there any ethical or framework that tackle this issue? Okay, so this question for both YBs and also Datin.
Okay, two questions.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much for the question. In fact, there are many initiatives by the government, be it from MOSTI or from KD, Kementerian Digital, or from KESUMA and KPT. There are many initiatives, but of course, depends on stages. So we do have courses like AI for Belia, AI for there are some from TVET. You know, we are giving incentive to TVET that give training on digital related training like AI, robotic, coding, etc. So those are the government initiatives. But I think we should have more private and government collaboration, especially like say like Petronas and any universities. We should have more collaboration. That in fact, KD is working very closely with Microsoft and also Google. We are looking at training up to a few hundred thousands of AI savvy workforce, and also 400,000 civil servants. So it's in the pipeline, but we need more of this. So we can't rely entirely on the government, but we also need a lot of collaboration from the private sector as well. So that is one. Secondly is on what? Oh, that goes back to AIGE. I think the AI governance and ethics is quite comprehensive. Just that, as I mentioned earlier, it is just a framework. It is just a reference that at this moment we still can't enforce it, but it's just a framework for us to refer to, I mean, especially to stakeholders and also industry players. So that is the current stage now. Thank you.
If I can just add to what YB Chang mentioned about AIGE, but in other parts of the world, for instance, you may have heard about EU AI Act. It's already now enforced. So part of the thing in EU AI Act, they also talk about the what do you call it, non-tolerable risks. Non-tolerable risk is when your AI is being used for example like social scoring and so forth. That's one example. In the case of China, for instance, you know there's a lot of AI that is developing videos, generate new videos, new photos. So they're also asking for a watermark, so that as a user, we know that that photo is generated by AI. So I think there's many safety feature many organization or country is trying to impose. And I think this is where, if you remember my presentation, while the technology scale very fast, the regulators are lagging behind. So we are building in the right ecosystem and the right controls mechanisms. But I think what's more important, even if you look at EU AI Act, the requirement of enforce, it goes into the both parties. One party is those parties who develop AI system. The other party is the user. Example, for instance, if the solutions is being deployed in a company, there must be enough evidence to say that the employee of the company has been fully trained on the use of AI, has fully trained to understand if the AI fail, what would be the so-called actions to be done by the human. So I think when we look at AI accountability, it doesn't fit into one single party. It also means that as a user of AI, you are also be accountable on your actions. So that's the principle of usage of AI. But I believe that as and when we go and move into this direction, I think there's also now a lot of the efforts by the government, for instance, in the National AI Office right now. They are undertaking the working group in looking at how do we further define a set of more explicit requirements that we can further deduce from AIGE. So that's kind of the right effort at this moment. Yeah?
Just one piece of additional information. In fact, EU AI Act is the only law, I think, so far, not even US, not even China, not even Singapore. So most of these countries, they are using similar approach like Malaysia, a framework instead of law. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, YB and Datin. So hopefully MOSTI and also Petronas will have like kind of a generous to fund our research in UM. Alright, thank you very much. Bye.
Pitching.
Thank you. Okay, next.
Hello, good evening. My name is Edisi. I'm doing software engineering in UM. Alright. So it's just a bit of building upon the guidelines. Actually, I have two questions. So one of them is related to guidelines. So this is for YB. In your opinion, do you think it's wise that we start off with a guideline first instead of just writing a regulation into law immediately? Saying like, for instance, if I recall, China does have something of an AI regulation into law where they are not allowed to train an AI model using a voice actor's voice or someone's art without their explicit consent. So I wonder if it's a wise choice to start off with the guideline instead of just writing some base rules into law first. And my other question is, this is directed towards Datin. So the question is AI being trained on other AI generated works a risk? Because I remember reading an article about how an AI being trained on other AI articles may end up regurgitating information that has way more hallucinations than normal and may end up just polluting the database of what the AI will be trained on. So I wonder if that is currently a major risk in our landscape. That's all.
Thank you. Just to answer your first question, I would like to give you an example. I've seen one illustration in The Economist. So someone brought a dog to the cage maker. So cage maker is like the regulator. I brought a dog. The dog is AI. So he said, I want to make a cage for this dog. So that cage maker make a cage. After 1 month, they make a cage. And then by the time he brought the dog to the cage maker, the size already exceeded the cage, because it shows that AI advances so fast that no regulation you can really fit at the moment. So there are reasons why so many countries, they are not taking the approach that you mentioned just now. So instead of law, we are using a framework because things are very fluid and very dynamic, and AI is a technology that advances so fast. Even you make a law now, very quickly you have to change it. So at the moment, we are still using a framework. Eventually, I think after things settle down, then maybe eventually we will have a set of law or regulation that can be enforced. But definitely not now. Thank you.
Okay, your questions, right? Your question is, does AI is being trained on the output of other AI? Yes, that is definitely a risk. That's why part of our assessment, right? The first thing we ask is how does AI is being trained? So, secondly is whether the data is a trusted data and whether they have legal rights over the data. I think those already part of the so-called control mechanism that we always put in place whenever we bring any generative AI solutions within the company. But typically what we are seeing at this moment, most of the company, they are not training their own Gen AI. Typically they will use what we call as a RAG approach to actually do the proper grounding. So which means that the data is still your data. But they use, for instance, like GPT-4 and everything those from a lens of the natural language processing to give you a better contextualization. But in terms of the data, it's still your data. So from our lens, if a company is bringing from a RAG approach, to us it's already safe. The other parts, if you remember, if you heard about synthetic data. Yeah, so synthetic data is very good because for AI to be trained, you need to have huge amount of data. But sometimes you don't have enough data. So synthetic data is being produced and being trained on AI that is still be okay because it is still have the right trend and some kind of character to the original data. So that is still allowable. So to your point, yes, we do take that as a consideration and making sure that there is no process of having any solutions being trained on the output of the other AI. Okay, I hope that explains. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, that's all.
Hi, good evening. I'm T. I'm a science student. I'm studying microbiology and molecular genetics. So, when we mentioned about precise, this inspiration was mostly include being people-centric, focusing on R&D and startups. So, I have a team of undergrads. We are passionate about the health issue, which is AMR. So, essentially, it's about bacteria getting resistant to antibiotics, and antibiotics won't work anymore. So, we have won grants. And we are organizing projects and events to spread awareness about it. And we have even gone to the stage where we have student ambassadors from other countries, 9 countries, including Philippines and Timor-Leste, that they agreed to establish their own chapters there. So my question to YB is, would MOSTI be open to supporting youth-led initiatives, research and surveillance like this in tackling problems like this, maybe incorporating AI?
Definitely. But of course, it still depends on your presentation and your proposal. You see, mostly we have a few grants, R&D grant. Off the cuff, I can think of a few. One is on SRF Strategic Research Fund, and we also have TED 1, TED 2. So there are quite a number of funds that are open for researchers or even students to apply. So and also biotech is a part of our very core focus. So we have our agency, we have bioeconomy, we have NIBM, National Institute of Biotechnology in Malaysia. So this is one of our focuses. So if you have good proposal, please do come to us.
Yeah, so if YB, may I ask if you have maybe 2 or 3 minutes after this session?
You should see my Dr. Sri KSU. He's the one who decides. Okay, sure.
All right, thank you. Next.
We heard a lot about China. Thank you. China is also a beautiful country. Welcome to China. I'm from China. And dear Mr. Chen, I have 2 questions for you. Thank you. I'm a teacher and I'm 5 of yours. I'm a 5. Okay. I have 2 questions. Okay. Number 1, do you think the students' learning plans must be deeply integrated with AI? Do you think the students' learning plan must be deeply integrated with AI? This is number 1.
Sorry, the question, must the students' learning be integrated with AI?
Yeah, learning plans must be deeply integrated with AI. Sorry, my English is...
Learning plan.
Learning plan. Maybe Chinese. 就您认为是不是现在的学生呢？关于人工智能一定要深度融合在学习当中
Basically, it's asking whether we should blend this AI into our conventional learning. Blend. Okay.
And the
Second question.
Second, will AI replace most teachers?
Sorry,
Sorry,
replace.
Replace most
okay.
teachers. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm a teacher.
Oh, you're a teacher. Okay, thank you. Two questions. Okay, one is on whether AI we should blend AI into our students' learning. Well, I think this is a very good question, and if you ask me, I think we should. I mean, certain extent, maybe it's not like basic knowledge of digital things like AI, robotic, coding. I think those are the things that we should incorporate into our current syllabus. Of course, because I'm not an education expert, so I can't give you how. I can't tell you how. But if you ask me, I think we should not only AI, robotic, and even some emerging tech like quantum technology. Also, I think we should, certain extent, we should blend into our syllabus, whether it is primary or secondary. So I think we should. Secondly, I don't think AI will replace most of the teachers, because as Datin mentioned just now, you can see, of course, the role of human might be declining, but still there is always a role. And besides that, we still have more newly emerged occupation or jobs because of AI. So maybe on conventional or traditional job, humans' role will be declining, but there will be new roles. For instance, just very small example, traditional sector like agriculture, we need a lot of human resources at this moment. So in Malaysia, we rely a lot on migrant workers. So if we can integrate AI into the system, we can have smart farming, we could drastically reduce our reliance on foreign workers, migrant workers. But at the same time, there will be new jobs or new skill set that we need new people to oversee, say to control the system, maintain the system, and whatnot. So I don't see AI will be replacing teachers. So this is my conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you also. It's very important about good enough.
Thank you. Sorry, before we continue, can I just check? There are two people, right? Okay. So that will be, I think, we will need to close up soon. So we'll take these are the final two. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. You guys can hear me, right? My name is Chuan Moon. I'm currently a freshman at the engineering faculty, taking mechanical engineering. So my question is quite similar to the Mr. before me. It's about the talent, with the syllabus incorporating, AI. So we've seen that a lot of us we're talking about AI, and talent is a major thing, happening in our situation right now. So previous talks that I've been to, they've always been talking about, talent. We are losing talent for, at a rate of 15% every year. So at a rate, especially, when we are from, universities like from USM, the top universities in Malaysia, and I see a lot of my seniors, those with no entanglement, no bonds with companies in Malaysia, they tend to leave, Malaysia for better income jobs from other countries like, our neighbor. And then my question is quite similar to the Mr. before me. We have yet to see any, AI-related courses integrated into, for example, mechanical engineering. So I've seen that, as Datin has mentioned just now, petroleum engineering can be trained into becoming a data analyst. So for mechanical engineering, there's a lot of stuff going on, but the government has yet to introduce a small course, it helps us to integrate ourselves with AI, or help us to develop AI, because we know that AI applies on everything, and you need an expert on that field to develop that specific AI. And with us losing so many talents, and having less and less talent, in Malaysia, and will it be one question to YB. Is this like going to be a major thing, or are we having a policy that's going to bring up by the government, soon to help curb this problem? Yeah, I think that's right.
Thank you very much. Well, I think it's a very good suggestion. In fact, besides, because we just set up our AI faculty in UTM last year, and UTM is of course offering a Bachelor of AI, but I think UM is also offering a Bachelor of AI, and also Asia Pacific University. Of course, APU is a private university, and also I know Xiamen University is also offering AI engineering. So I think slowly but surely, more universities or higher learning institutions, they will be offering more of these courses. But to answer your question, of course I know you are not referring to this. You are referring to say like micro-credential. Maybe you have your core course, but how to integrate AI into your area. So as I mentioned just now, government has this initiative to give assignment or task to different universities to incorporate AI into certain sectors. Like for UM is medical, for UPM is cyber security, for USM is semiconductor, for UKM is LLM. So we have already started, but of course I know the process is still slow, but we have already started. So once everything goes well, then I think KPT will take it from there. Okay, thank you.
There's one follow-up question on that. So for us, right, I've seen the decline in students, especially studying STEM for secondary school. So I think I can suggest to MOSTI that maybe you and the MOE and the Ministry of Higher Education can come up with a task force, maybe just to help students, to build up their STEM interests, and as well as incorporating AI in their young studies, especially about the AIGE. So I've seen recently we have a case where students, they do inappropriate things with AI, the one that we've seen in the report yesterday, I think 2 days ago.
In Johor, yeah, they superimposed photo on using AI to superimpose on.
Yeah, I think that having this good governance and also the ethical studies, especially the moral studies for students, is very important, especially with AI booming right now.
Thank you. We'll discuss with Ministry of Higher Education and also Ministry of Education, because it's a cross-ministerial effort. Now a lot of things are cross-ministerial, so we need to have collaboration with other ministries as well. But I think on that, how to integrate into say your field, mechanical. Oh, maybe you can have a chat with 𝘏𝙗𝙗, because they are expert in AI application in businesses. So I'm sure he can give you some idea how to integrate AI into your core business. Okay, thank you.
If I can just add to what YB Chang mentioned, I think just now YB Chang responded in terms of the policy, but I just want to add on in terms of the individual efforts. If you Google out there, there's a lot of online learning. You can go through AWS, Google, Microsoft. You can take the relevant online learning, even certification, they give you certifications. So maybe from the module lens, it may not get embedded, but I believe from an individual capacity, you can do that, right? Because I'm just telling you this, the learning about AI, learning about cloud, cyber and everything, it also applies to us, even though we are in the workforce. Many of the engineers in Petronas, they're learning on their own about the use of Azure, AWS, and so forth. So I think that should be already motivation at the student level. How do you level up your skill set and competency? Because those certifications are actually free. So you can always go and do that. Yeah?
I just want to add to that. MIMOS also provides training. We have the MIMOS Academy that provides AI-related training. And we recently actually also launched MOSTI Junior Academy, which is actually for kindergarten, all right, where we the focus is on STEM related education for children. So that's to address your other question.
Thank you very much.
Okay, final question.
Okay, good evening. I'm Dr. Chan Lih Kang from YB. I'm a researcher in the sustainable construction material, meaning that the concrete is made out of the waste material without cement. So my question is, how do you guys think this AI can contribute to anything like construction material related application or any material engineering related application?
Lucky.
Because actually we are also trying to adapting the AI into the construction material research. So at one point actually, I make my FYP student to do the construction material research. Then what they do is they keep using the ChatGPT to help them to write the thesis. And all the things come out is wrong. The literature review, all the references are wrong. So at one point I'm so fed up. Then I asked the ChatGPT, regarding to construction material research, what do you think? Are you better than me or I'm better than you? Then the ChatGPT say, I should admit that you are better than me. So I just screenshot and tell my student, AI also admit he cannot be better than me. So please don't try to fool him with the AI by using AI to write a thesis.
That's very interesting. But just to inform you, we also have a few AI. They are AI startup, and they are expert in applying AI in industry. Like Lucky is for business, QMAT is on medical, MAIA also medical, Mind Robotics is on agriculture. So maybe they can give you a better picture how to apply AI into certain fields or sectors. Yeah. If you want to talk to them about this.
Okay, so far right now, AI in construction materials is quite limited, the literature review. So what I can find for construction related, AI in construction related field, they are mostly applied on the digital twin or the BIM, but not yet the construction material. So we also try to find a breakout from here.
Maybe the issue is not about AI. Maybe the issue is about not enough contents and materials to begin with. Because if you have enough, you can just apply AI right into that, and you can have a better contextualization and output. So that's my sense of your issue now.
Okay, no problem. We will try our best to
find.
And
another thing, you don't use ChatGPT because ChatGPT, they are trained on backdated data, yeah? And some of the data that they train, it maybe is an open source data, which means that it's not something that they purchase. So maybe to your line of research, those information are something you need to purchase. So maybe that's the reason why your ChatGPT doesn't give you the best output, for instance.
I actually subscribed the ChatGPT.
No, not you subscribe ChatGPT. I'm saying that ChatGPT, when they train huge data, but maybe they are trained on a public, free, open data. But they are not trained on IP, proprietary data. For instance, data of specific research that you have to buy, for instance. So that's the reason why in the world of AI, what we call that, we have small language model that we train on a specific domain. For instance, there will be a small language model that is being trained on anything about health related, anything about engineering related. Yeah? So maybe you need to find, maybe there's even a good R&D, maybe Universiti Malaya wanted to say, there's some of the area that maybe there's not enough availability of AI solutions out there, that become an opportunity. If you have enough data to begin with, that's where your small language model can be part of very valuable AI assets, not just for Universiti Malaya, but maybe even for the country as well.
Okay, so thank you very much. So anyone will have the idea of how to make your AI into construction material may seek for me for the collaboration. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, YB, Datin. I think we will come to the end of our session. Thank you.